Hey Lamer, how are you? Ah, it's working. Oh, well, chat's working up here also. Hey Joseph. Yeah, I'm doing a new layout. I changed my second monitor to be vertical, I think the word is. So instead of being horizontal, it's vertical, so I can utilize my space better apparently. It seems like. Doing well. Yeah, Oil Linux nerds. Hey Johan. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm not tired, but I definitely need the weekend this time. Work has been a little bit crazy lately. Oh, Stream Element. Yoxi's on Win. Well, I'm on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux at the moment. But not VirtualBox, VMware just had an update, and I had problems with the Windows crashing in VMware, randomly just crashing for no apparent reason whatsoever. And it's probably because of the compatibility layer between Windows 11 and the TPM and all of that stuff and the virtualizing software. So because they had that update, I'm like, why not try and see how long we can go without it crashing? And I've been doing 8 hours live stream in this VM without it crashing. And then I've been doing 30 minutes into a live stream and it's crashed. So it's really, it's like something, sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't, and I just want to see if this new update to VMware, if that helped, or can you enable TPM in the BIOS? It's automatically enabled, or else I can't install Windows 11. Wind blows. On Linux, yeah, if you're running an AMD processor that's 2000 series and up, it's automatically enabled. It's in the BIOS. If you're running newer Intel systems, it's automatically enabled. You just have to have a system that utilizes it. You can, I think, go in and disabling it, but for most systems, you have Intel. If it has TPM, it's more than likely just automatically enabled. Because they do that from a security aspect. And then if the system utilizes it, utilizing it. If not, it don't. We have had TPM for years and years and years. We just never really used it. Other if you were running like, let's say, Windows Server or something like that. Oh, what is that hard meaning? So I'm getting hearts in chat. What does that mean? I retired my old desktop computer. Oh, really? Who's writing from DOS? Yeah, so what is that hard thingy? Yeah, what is that shit? What is it? Who is, So we have better TV emotes. Do they work? Does they work? What is this? Yeah, that works. And hey, Warren. Yeah, what is it? Is it every time someone likes the stream? I don't know. My most recent ice storm was the last test. Too many disasters to force into retirement. Yeah. Windows for gaming, so when I'm trying... So TPM 2.0 is disabled on Kubuntu according to the info center. What's up? I'm just testing Windows in to see if the new VirtualBox, not VirtualBox, I keep calling it VirtualBox. VMware to see if the new update made it stop crashing just randomly. The benefits of TPM is security. So look at think about TPM. Let's take up. Let's just do. Yeah. Now I get smiley emotes in chat. I think it's some form of emos that you can do. I will check the bias and on the den see if it's enabled. Yeah. Hello, Jan. Maybe it's something you can do on the mobile app. Sorry. You send the smiley emoji. How did you do that? It's on YouTube mobile. Yeah, I thought so. So this is what I don't like about YouTube, is that you get one experience on their website and you get another experience on their mobile device. It's the same. If I look at comments on mobile or my tablet, I can see how many times a person have commented on my video. I can get way more information on the person on the video. Or sorry, that are commenting on my mobile phone. But if I use the website, I lose a lot of features. It's really, really irritating. Hey, Becky. I wish that what you can do on mobile and tablets you could do on desktop also. I tapped on the heart and shows the email. Oh, yeah. So you can't... I will explain what TPM do for you in a second here. I just got a little bit sidetracked. Oh yeah, this is another emoji someone made me. It's probably coming to... Yeah, it probably will come to the website at some point, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, but I still think it's still... Oh, that's not what I want. It's still really, really crazy that they don't have a coherency between their products. You know. So let's make 2 boxes here. And I'm going to generalize like motherfucker, okay? This is going to be generalized massively, but let's fill these 2 boxes up here. So let's give it this color here and give the other one this color here. And let's do black. So you can have software and hardware security. That's the simplest way of looking at it. So software security in here, that can be your kernel, it can, your kernel, it can be antiviruses, firewalls. Firewalls can also be done in hardware, but, it's stuff that are done software. Then you can have hardware. Of course, there is software or firmware, software, call it what you will, build into hardware. So that can be like, again, you can have like a hardware firewall, you could have like TPM. I really, really need a tablet to type on the screen with. And all of that shit. So what it basically is doing here is that it's making your things secure outside of your software environment. So if something happens with your software environment, you are still protected on a hardware level. And what TPM is doing is helping you manage your security, like passwords. They can help you with encryption and stuff like that. And software vendors can utilize TPM in different ways. They can put DIM into TPM. So let's say I want people that have paid to access my website. I can put a certificate with, DIM certificate onto TPM if I'm a programmer or something like that. And it remembers, and it can do so much more, and it's so much complicated. It can also look at hardware changes, as something changed in the hardware, on the firmware, on the hardware, and stuff like that. It's way, 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 way complicated. But the most simple way of thinking about it is that, okay, it's handling security, trusted platform module. So it's helping me with platform security. So it's a good thing, it's a good thing. It's helping us being more secure, and it is the future. Linux is starting to support it now. Mac kind of have it to some extent if you think about it. You know, you can't just really go and use different hardware, CPUs and stuff like that on the hardware. That's a form of trusted platform module. You know, you need to have, you know, be validated from Apple to use specific. Like back in the day, you couldn't just when you could expand your Macintosh, you couldn't just buy a run-of-the-mill graphic card if you have a MacBook, or not MacBook, but Mac Pro. It has to be certified hardware, you know, certified graphic cards that you put into your Mac Pro, and it's kind of what this TPM can also do. You know, it's I don't know why the fuck I'm using Edge. I really want to use Chrome, to be honest. And did I not double click it? Oh yeah, it's coming. Chrome has been really slow lately. I don't know what's wrong with it. Yeah, Solus is kind of dead. Yeah, for secure cyber processor, dedicated microprocessor designed to secure hardware through integration encryption keys. And you can also use it like digital right management. You can also use it for software licenses. Like I said, you can also it can be used for a lot of things. So again, Linux people, TPM sucks, and here's why. TPM supports Linux now. Linux people, TPM is amazing. Here's why. So if you buy let's say Intel vPro chip, you have automatically bought a license to Microsoft. Hey, said you don't have to put in a license when you install Windows. It's on the CPU and probably in the trusted platform module, depending on how old the CPU is. I last week, I think it was, I installed 2 or 3 computers that had a vPro chip in them. Intel vPro chip in them, and it was just an i5. But there was a built-in Microsoft license on those CPUs. And it gives you a lot of other stuff you can look into. And it was on those small little Lenovo Tiny. So I'm getting really into those Tiny. I really love these systems here. Like these small form factor computers here, they are fucking amazing. And you can get them second hand really inexpensive, like really cheap. And these could be amazing like Linux machines. I'm actually debating about getting one just to run Linux on. And you can get them for like $200 or something like that, with a decent CPU, and they are really upgradable, massively upgradable. A lot of them have NVMe support and SSD, you know, normal SATA SSD support. And I'm thinking about buying one to run Linux on it and one to run Windows on. And then make that Windows my development Windows machine. I actually, at work, I run one of, I think it's one of these down here, a newer version of these. It looks a lot like this one here, it's just a newer version. And it's like, it takes no room whatsoever. No room whatsoever. It actually looks a lot like this one here. It's just M97 or something like that. And it takes no room whatsoever. And if you don't need to game, this can do everything you need it to do. And it's like a 93 or 68 watt system. So think about that. It's taking almost no electricity. Emulation console, it could be a perfect media center. Dell makes them, Toshiba makes them, Lenovo makes them, and they are like, I don't know what common thing do I have around that? I'm looking at my apartment right now. a 10-inch tablet. That's kind of the size they are. 8 to 10-inch tablet. And then maybe, you know, pizza box height. You know, they I don't know if we can get the measurement if you go in here. I accept cookies. I don't want to go to... Yeah, I don't give fuck that. Fuck that. Let's see if we can find it. Here, dimensions. 184 millimeters, 182 millimeters, and 65 millimeters. So that's 7.2 inches, 7.16 inches, and 2.5 inches. And you get a banging system. And like I said, you can get these used, like, you know, the older modules for like under $200, about $200, at least in Denmark. They are like $200 to $300, but you guys and girls in the rest of the world that don't have to pay the high sales taxes as we do here, you can easily find them for about $120 to $200. And then you have a bare metal, amazing Linux machine. And then you just get a HDMI switcher and a second keyboard and mouse, or install one of those migration software where you can just migrate between your computers. And then you have an experiment system. You can install TrueNAS on it or Debian and use it as a NAS system. Again, low powered. That's what I kind of like the most about these, is the low power consumption. I didn't look at the power. Oh, do we really need to go through all of this shit again? Like, the power consumption is fucking mind-boggling. See if we can find it here. We can. I think it's like a 65 watt adapter. That's what they are using. So if you're living in a country right now with extremely high electricity prices, this could be a really good way of you know, only using your desktop when you're going to do highly desktop-esque intense things. So gaming, for example. And then use this one here as your daily driver. And again, you can get them from Dell. Dell's is a little bit more cheaper than the Lenovo ones. I just have only worked with the Lenovo ones. And I think Toshiba, or I can't remember who the other ones is, but Dell's and Lenovo's. HP also have ones, but HP have a lot of proprietary firmware and biases and stuff like that, so I will not go into HP. I will stick with either Dell or Lenovo for the ThinkCenters, and then the tiny ones there. And some of them comes with the Pro chip in them. So if you buy one second hand with a V Pro chip from Intel in them, there's a high chance that there is already a, in quote, paid license for Microsoft in there for Windows, so you can just install any fucking Windows you want. It's most likely Windows Pro. And you don't have to qualify for, or calling to reactivate Windows via their phone line and stuff like that. I found a major video bug on KDE Kubuntu. Yeah, I'm a little bit fed up with Linux, to be honest. I'm using Dell Mini Inspiron as a server, right? Yeah, I think that's the ones that they are called, yeah. I'm actually thinking, I don't think I would do, I'm actually thinking about buying a Synology NAS, like an entry-level Synology NAS, because I'm working with Synology NAS at my work, and I want to know more about Synology. And I'm thinking about just buying the entry-level one for like the $200 one or what. It's really not that expensive. And then put like a 6 terabyte drive into it. It looks, like a Nintendo Wii. Yeah. I was scared. I thought I've heard, hey, Esnek, yeah, Linux, and after they went over to Wayland, is having a really, really crazy fucking problem. Toshiba is crap in general. I built a small barebone ASRock A300 base CPU for my Proxmox. Yeah, Proxmox, I think, but Proxmox is mostly hypervising. Like you have to spin up either, you know, a virtual machine or Docker container to do almost anything in Proxmox, where under true NAS, you know, you don't need to spin up a containers to, you know, NAS stuff and stuff like that. But here's the thing. The entry-level Synology NASs cost less than it will cost you to build a barebone. Like, they cost about the same as buying these second-hand. That's what you can get a NAS, a Synology NAS for. Then, of course, you have to buy a hard disk for them. And here's a fun thing. Synology NAS is using, I think it's Debian. TPM was already enabled, but 1.2 and not 2.0, so basically my computer is not safe. Oh, it is safe. Your computer is safe. It's just some hardware only support 1.2 and other hardware support 2.0. Your computer is perfectly safe. And I think why Linux says it's disabled is probably because Linux is not using it. That's why it says it's not enabled under Linux, because Linux is not using it. I think Linux only look at it from is Linux utilizing it and not your hardware. So don't think about it. And I think it's only like the new kernel that supports TPM, to be honest. Isn't bad for the price, but Toshiba is really bad. I have only. I will not say only, but most people I've talked to over the years have had problems with the Toshiba. It's in general, anything from Toshiba is just yeah. I decided not to do TPM because I use full disk LUKS encryption. I still, to this day, I need to make an updated version of why I don't use full disk encryption. I still get people commenting on my videos about why I don't use full disk encryption. And basically telling me that everything is up for grabs. I'm the worst person in the world for spreading methods that people should not be using full disk encryption. And I might as well just, you know, jumped into lava in Minecraft because I know nothing about computers. Where they are like, and I'm like, well, my computer's on 24/7. Encryption only works when your computer is turned off. And it's like, oh, well, what if people are running with your computer? Well, all my sensitive data is not on my physical hardware, it's in the cloud. You know? I have the shit on the cloud. Or it's password protected, like massively password protected, and two-factor authentication protected. Sometimes the cluelessness of people that want to play smart is oh my god. Don't think about this TPM thing. It's just here's the thing. Here's the thing. If Windows didn't require TPM, Windows 11, you would probably not even know that you had TPM on your system. And most people have had TPM on their system for years without knowing it. Windows 11 just kinda, you know, making people aware of it. But they may make good hardware. No, Toshiba don't make good hardware. I'm sorry. I don't use full disk. I don't use disk encryption. Never did, and probably never. No, it makes no sense. And here's the thing, if someone is stealing your home computer, a random person is stealing your home computer, they probably won't because it's a heavy fucking shit to carry out of the house. You know, like, and what do they get for it on the black market? Nothing. There's no value in stealing your computer. Unless they want your data, and there's way easier way to get your data than steal your computer. There's way easier way of stealing your data or getting your data than stealing your computer. Massively more easier ways. Just pretend you're an Nigerian prince and you want to give them $1 million, and a lot of people will give you everything you need. You know? Never stationary computer, yeah. Cloud storage is annoying on Linux store. Yeah, a lot of I know Google Drive is well supported, but yeah. getting cloud services to work on that Linux can be really, really crazy, man. Yeah, if my computer gets stolen, I wish them good luck with my favorite movies. Yeah, refurbs the Optiplay 5050 Mini. Yeah, a lot of people are using them. I use disk encryption only on my laptop. So I kind of understand it on laptops. I can kind of say that, like, if you're using your laptop and you're sitting in cafes and you're taking it with you to your friends all the time and stuff like that, I can see a point in doing it on a laptop. But if you only use your laptop at home, put it into a bag, take it with you to work and use it at work, I'm like, yeah, and it also depends on what kind of data do you have on it. Nobody really fucking care much about your social media. Like I said, that's way easier to get other people's social media than stealing your computer. It comes down to you're not that important. Nowadays, if people are targeting computers, it's because they want something from that specific computer or person. That means that you need to have something of massive value for them to spend that much time to get that information. And your hentai porn, I'm sorry, it's not that fucking important, okay? Your search history, your bitching and moaning about the latest fucking, what is the latest thing that everyone is angry about? What is that game? Hogwarts, the wizard thing, what the fuck is it called? That game everyone is bitching and moaning about. Nobody cares about your Twitter activity, okay? If you're a CEO, if you are influence scientists that are doing breaking, science shit, development, research and development. Hogwarts Legacy, there you go, thank you, Becky. Nobody cares about that unless you are like doing secret research and cutting edge research or a CEO for a massive company and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it. But 99.9% of people that are angry about disk encryption on YouTube comments and stuff like that, I don't give a fuck about what they have on it, and so do 99% of the rest of the world. They don't give a fuck about it either. There are no value in it. First of all, there's no value in stealing a desktop. There's more value in stealing a laptop. They are higher cost than the black market, but a desktop, they get nothing from it. And it's heavy and it takes time. Like if you have 5 minutes in a house to crap and run out of it as fast as possible, you're going for things that have high value, jewelry, wallets, things that looks expensive. You're not like, oh, there's this fucking massive heavy thing with LEDs blinding my fucking eyes. Yeah, let me spend 5 minutes taking all of the fucking cords out of it, carrying this heavy ass shit out of the fucking door. Oops, there's the cops. I can't run with this shit in my hand. Let's throw the computer away. But they can run with, jewelries, wallets, and stuff like that. I think people have a weird fucking idea about what burglars actually are doing. And I've known some burglars in my life. I have known some bad people. And yeah, they don't give a fuck about things that are fucking heavy and it takes too much time because they don't sit and have, I have 2 hours in this house, let's go fucking mental. Most people have, neighborhood watch and security systems and all that fucking shit. Do you really think that they will spend 10 minutes taking a computer with them that probably will give them like $100 at most on the black market, where if they go through drawers and they find jewelries and stuff like that, by the way, can't fucking be traced. Like, you can trace your own computer nowadays with Windows and stuff like that. Yeah, they just find my fucking computer nowadays, like find my iPhone, or, Why go through that fucking risk? Or Microsoft's like, oh, someone's trying to log into your computer with your account from this and this area with this fucking IP address. Is this you? You know where they are. Yeah, they are not. Yeah, I'm sorry, people, but yeah, it's, yeah. They'd rather steal your old car than your fucking computer, okay? I just want to digress. Probably of such things leaking, even especially, yeah. It is already a lot of online things, banking, health insurance, and I can get your banking, your health insurance, everything that you do on your computer, that you're doing with a cloud service. It's way. So here's the thing. Why do I want to attack you to get your bank or health insurance information, where I could attack your health provider and your bank instead and get thousands of people's information? So why should I focus on you, where with the same focus and the same effort I could or maybe a little bit more effort it takes on my end, I could get hundreds of people's information at once? So why should I hack your Facebook account? Well, they do it for social. So they take social media accounts so they can use those accounts to catfish other people to get money. That makes sense. But why should I take your account just to get your information when I can hack Facebook? So why should I care about, let's say, Lamer's Facebook account when I can hack Facebook servers and get thousands of people's accounts and information? That's why you barely see any breaches on home systems anymore, but you see a lot of breaches on data storage providers, social media providers and stuff like that. They don't care about you as an individual because it's too much effort to, unless you're like Google CEO or and shit like that. Yeah, they care about you. But anyone in here right now, you are meaningless to the world from a hacker's viewpoint. The only reason they may want your account is that if it's fucking easy to get it. So if you think you're the only one getting the Nigerian Prince email, no, you're not. They're sending that email out to thousands of people, and then they just wait for someone to be stupid enough to contact them. That's the only efforts they're going to do. Your computer right now is trying to get hacked. They're seeing if they can penetrate your firewall. And if you have just a little bit of firewall rules up, oops, too much effort, going to the next one. And then they go into Esnik that has nothing on his computer. Yep, let's go into him. They go for the least effort. And if you just have a little bit of effort put up, they go to the next one. You are not important. Yeah, the whole Hogwarts Legacy fucking thing is amazingly fucking stupid. Getting caught unplugging the cable will be a bomber, yeah. Hey, Wells. I think stationary PC is worth a steal for the water cooling. No, it's not. So, I'm talking from experience here. A $1,000 computer will probably land you $200 or $300 on the black market. If not less, nowadays. Graphic cards could be a good idea to steal. But again, you have to think about the logistics of taking the fucking computer, carrying it out of the room, where I could have... So here's the thing. I could steal a $10,000 computer or a $1,000 computer, or for the same weight and volume of a $1,000 computer, I can have for hundreds of thousands of dollars in wallets, jewelry, and other small, light valuables. That's how they think, unless they are fucking crap at it. But professionals think like that. It's like, what is the most value I can get away with that is, makes me more faster? It don't hinder my movement and make me slow. Don't weigh that much, and so on and so on and so on. Most of the time when people are stealing PCs, it's mostly crack addicts or teenagers. Because they have no fucking idea what they're doing. They just want to take something. They are really in need of, money for the next fix, so they just take everything they can get their hands on. If you have a desktop sync enabled with your cloud storage provider, those files likely are on the local hardware and probably accessible by anyone with physical access to the drive. Yeah, but again, previous statements are made. They had broken into my apartment, and what I missed was a laptop and my photo camera. But the worst is they invited my privacy. Yeah. Inviting once. That's the worst thing. I have had cars broken into and stuff like that, and luckily enough, they didn't take anything. But I had to sell that fucking car because it was not my car anymore. You know, I didn't felt it was my car anymore because they broke into my car. But again, laptops is a totally different fucking situation. I do agree that if you're having your laptop with you out and about, all in different places, yeah, do as much as you can. Okay, you always have your laptop again. No, it's not focused on you. It's if I lose my laptop, I'll be stolen, or I will sell it to someone. I won't be sure that that's. Well, chat just fucked up here. I'm sorry. Here's the thing: the information I can get from your laptop, I can also get online. So hey, this is what. So the thing that you have to do on your laptop is not have auto log in on anything. Don't have auto log in on anything, and don't locally save sensitive information. Then I can steal your laptop and I can't really get any information from it, or it's really limited what information I can get from it. Because yeah, I may open up your laptop. For some reason, I have your password, and I can get into your system. And it's auto opening, Google Drive and all that shit. But I have to put in your credentials to access it. So it's open up, say, hey, log in. It's open up this program, hey, log in. Don't use auto login on laptops if you're carrying them around. It's almost like if you do that and you don't save, let's say, your sensitive shit locally, but you save it in some fucking other cloud provider, which is basically just saying another man's computer that you have to trust, said man, or have a encrypted folder, password protected files. I have password protected and biometric protected files for work on my devices that I have sensitive data on that you can only access if you cut off my fucking thumb. You can steal my phone. And if you have the password for my phone, you can still not get access to that. Like, people are overcomplicating this so fucking much. And I think it's because they are watching a lot of these Hollywood movies that has nothing to do with how the real world works. Like, if I was a fucking, Hollywood movie, I would be like, hack Google. And this would just automatically hack Google, and I would be the biggest fucking hacker in the world, and I would have all the information. Hey, don't want to hack my Facebook. No, I don't want to hack your Facebook. The only check that was that they pick up quickly, but they're going through your private stuff. Yeah, it is. I would say people stealing your shit, the biggest problem, or not problem, but the biggest violation nowadays is that they are violating your privacy. They're intruding into your life. But Brother Kent, we are the Linux cult. Yeah. Hail Linux, all praise Linux, bow for the Linux gods. Yeah, we are the elite. So if you are stupid enough, let me put it another way. If you are stupid enough to trust your laptop or a thumb device with your sensitive data without having it password protected or encrypted, that's you being massively fucking stupid and not knowing what you're doing when it comes to security. Like, I can't be more blunt about it. You should not have, your tax receipts on your fucking computer without having it heavily fucking protected with passwords and encryption. And not your disk. Because disk encryption don't work when your disk is running. No, you have to have that file encrypted. So, for example, right now, if I have this disk encrypted here, if I had Windows disk encrypted, right now, if someone hacked my computer while I was running, they can get access to every fucking thing. So if I go into downloads, do I have anything in my download folder? Yeah, I have Arduino projects. If this was really, really highly sensitive, I need to have a program that encrypts this folder. So when my computer's up and running, and I'm not actively using that folder, it's encrypted, it's protected. So that means that if someone is hacking me while my computer is open, or they get access to my computer and can get into my operating system, they are still, this is still heavily encrypted or password protected. If you're just leaving your, making all kind of fucking, your tax receipts, your bank information just in a text file here, you are stupid. I'm sorry, but you're fucking stupid, okay? Yeah. But again, we have to remember, they have to have access to your operating system. So here again, this is what 99% of people do if they steal a laptop. They take the laptop, they wipe the data on it, because they cannot sell a laptop and say, yeah, I have this laptop for sale, but someone else's credentials is on it. Then the buyer would be like, okay, how the fuck did you get this laptop? So what they do, they take your laptop, they wipe the living shit out of it, and then they will sell it, because if they don't do that, you can find your fucking laptop. Find your device. Windows will say, or Mac, or if someone's trying to log into your device from another IP address that we don't know about, is this you? Here's the IP address and location. So they don't even bother with that fucking shit. They just steal your laptop, wipe the shit from it, and sell it. Again, overcomplicating a simple thing here. Yeah, Linux master race. Do you think it's best to just use both Windows and Linux on different machine? I'm sorry, but chat is all over the place. I can't hold it. Okay, where the fuck are we? Here we are. No. So you have the best of both worlds. Dual booting is okay if you dual boot if you know how to dual boot. If you don't know how to dual boot and putting boot sectors on separate hard drives, I would say, yeah, buy a really, really inexpensive computer and have Linux on it. But dual boot can get you into a heap of problems. It can get you, like, dual booting, I would not recommend it for most people. And most Linux people don't even fucking know how to dual boot correctly. No, I can't use this fucking system because it has, I need secure boot for Windows. Well, then put your bootloader on a separate hard drive so it's circumventing secure boot. And if it's really a problem, when you want to boot into your Linux partition, you disable secure boot, boot into your Linux partition, enable dual secure boot, boot into Windows. That's just hassle. Nobody wants that. So yeah, it's probably more easy or convenient to have like a Lenovo Tiny here as a Windows machine or something like that. Or run Windows run Linux in a virtual machine, or run Windows in a virtual machine. This is a virtual machine. This right here. 99% of the videos you see in my YouTube is virtual machines. I will say 99% of the videos I made is made in virtual machines when it comes to Linux. Because Linux runs so great in virtual machines, I can do everything I want with Linux and virtual machines. That why should I go through the hassle of dual booting when I can do everything I want on Linux and a virtual machine? I don't game under Linux. The info might be elsewhere, but why serve it up to a thief on a... Pratt, here's the thing. They don't steal your fucking computer with the mindset of getting your data. the second they take your computer, especially if it's a Macintosh, and that's kind of the only ones fucking being stolen nowadays, you can fucking open their webcam when they turn on the computer to see where the fuck they are. Even Windows have, you know, I think I can't remember what it's called. Find my device. This device can't be located because localization is turned off. If I enable localization and you steal my, let's pretend this was a laptop, I can log into another computer and I can be, where is my laptop right now? There are so many anti-theft preventions that if they are going to steal hardware, the best thing for them to do, unless, like I said, they are fucking raging meth addicts, is that you take the computer, you take the hard drive, and you throw it out to the fucking lava pits of hell. Or you wipe, you know, you reinstall Windows or Linux on it or whatever you want. Don't open the... I'm telling thieves what to do with it, with stolen hardware now. But take the computer. If that's what, for some reason you want the computer or laptop, yeah, steal that shit, okay? Don't open it. Don't, well, when I say open it, don't try to log in to the system. Most people have password protected systems. So first of all, you have to crack the password to get into their system. And just just the fact that you are on the password screen means that I can go and find my computer now. Okay? So if you are going, and this is what they are doing, they are taking this shit and then they are wiping the hard drive. Like I said, nobody wants to buy a computer that is blatantly obvious fucking stolen. There are stupid people out there that will do that, and there are stupid people out there selling people computers that are blatantly stolen. But the smart ones, they take this shit, they wipe it out, and they sell it. So they can go and get the next fix. Do you encrypt data you push to the cloud? I mean, if you back up any data, it's already encrypted in the cloud. And if you have Google Drive or OneDrive, that communication between you and the cloud is encrypted. What do you use Linux for? If you can use it in a Docker VMS, it might be very easy. So I use Linux as a desktop operating system. I just choose to do that in a virtual machine. So anything you can think about in a desktop that you would do on a desktop, I do on Linux. Besides gaming. Anything GPU resource heavy things I don't do under Linux, I do that under Windows. But everything else I do. If you can think about it, I've done it or do it under Linux. My problem is that when I use Windows, I want to use Linux, and when I use Linux, I want to use Windows. Kenny, you need to have either, if you are on Windows as your host, have a virtual machine with Linux on it. And I will gladly make a video to help you set up virtual machines if you want to do that. Or if you're a Linux host, install Windows on it. I tend to get bored and want to switch. That's why I have... Yeah. I'm the same, and that's why I think... I said to myself, Kenny, I did this. I made a list and said, what do I do under Windows and what do I do under Linux? And can all or most of these tasks be done easily and convenient in a virtual machine? And when it came to Linux, it was like 99% yes. So that means that for me, the best thing is to have a Windows host with a Linux virtual machine. It's not necessarily about what I do. It's just free the system. Yeah, I get what you say, Kenny. If you take precautions and basically use your laptop like a dummy terminal, then no. Yeah, you're not using your laptop as a dummy terminal. But you are being aware of what you... It all comes down to being a smart user. Be an intelligent user of your system. And I'm going to sound like an elitist asshole right now. Most people I see talk about security online, in comment section and in forum posts, they don't have any fucking clue what they're doing. They might as well just give their key. They think they are safe, but they are really not. If you really want to try Linux, try it in the VM first if you are on Windows. Honestly, I think generally feel both Windows and Linux are similar. Yeah, I like both. I like Windows and Linux the same. I still don't trust putting private info in the cloud provider, even if it's encrypted. I will encrypt the files on my side, and yep. Yeah, that's the dilemma, because when you're putting something in the quote cloud, that always say this to yourself: cloud equals another person's computer. It's all about, do you trust that other person? Or if not, I have a hard drive at home that's on one of those hard drives enclosure. That is encrypted, or at least I need to encrypt it. I haven't done it yet because I just updated it. But I used to have, let me put it that way, I don't anymore because I haven't set up yet, I hadn't had time for it. But I used to have an encrypted thumb drive for things that was really sensitive for me. And that thumb drive was hidden somewhere in my apartment. You get what I'm saying here? I've tried more times than I should have. I reinstalled system at least 100 times last year. Problem or on my own, so I need to have both things ahead. Yeah, Kenny, I'll go with Windows as a host and Linux in a virtual machine. Again, like I said, I'm scrolling through chat right now. Yeah, keep that locked up. Yeah, keep it locked up. Yeah, in general, I think people should worry more about so-called lawful data encryption by government. Yeah, I will agree with that. That we should be more aware of what the governments and the companies do that we trust our data with. I will 1000% agree with that. If you really want to use Linux on bare metal, make sure to have bootable flash drive. Them, have a bootable flash drive. Yeah. I remember in 7 they created an open command line and CD to C drive and type the tree command. I told everyone at school I was hacking the school. There's no limit to levels of paranoia and therefore levels of encryption you put on your data. Yeah, that's true. But you also have to remember, encryption is hackable. How can I stop? It's because when I scroll down, then it just fucking jumps down to the bottom, and I have not read the last post. So can you pause the No, you can't pause the chat. I don't trust dual booting with Windows. Someone called it dual boot. Dual booting with Windows is no problem if you know how to do it. If you dual boot, it tends to stick with one. Yeah, I get that. Oh, what the fuck happened there? Yeah, to get a quick shot, yeah. Don't, Wilson, don't let your bootloader under Linux handle your bootloading for Windows. It will fuck you over at some point. If you are dual booting from 2 separate hard drives and have each hard drive have their own bootloader. So when you're going to choose if you're going to run Linux or Windows, you need to go into the boot menu of your BIOS. So when you're booting your computer, it's F12 or 8 or something like that, depending on your hardware. You just press that until it says what hard drive do you want to boot from, and then you boot from the selected hard drive. I've been doing that for 10 years plus, and never had a problem with Crop fucking up my Windows install, or Windows Update fucking over Crop. I don't think Linux has more options for two-factor authentication that Windows have. I don't believe that. I definitely don't believe that. yeah. Yeah, Office 365, yeah, and Google Docs, yeah. Hey, Adam. I'm sorry I'm a little behind here, but yeah, Windows telemetry is crazy. It really is. I don't use Windows Subsystem for Linux because, like I said, I'm using Linux as a desktop, not as a CLI emulator. I'm doing a lot of desktop things where I need graphical interfaces, and also I need it for my, YouTube channel. A lot of people use Nextcloud. Oh, I'm almost caught up now. Yeah. Chinese say they can break encryption. Yeah. Here's how you should think about it. If you think disk encryption is all you need, you are a fool. If you think strong passwords is all you need, you are a fool. If you think two-factor authentication is all you need, you are a fool. If you think off-site and online and offline backups are all you need, you are a fool. Okay? Don't rely on one thing. Depending on what your security situation is. So some things we want to be a little bit secure, but we don't need them to be massively secure. Okay? So my pictures, I don't care that much if people get them. Would it be embarrassing? Yeah. But I don't care. Like, I don't have nudes and stuff like, I don't have pictures of shit I should not have pictures of. So I may only password protect my picture folder, for example, or not do anything with it at all, because they can't get to my pictures without getting access to my social media accounts and or my computer with passwords. And so I will have it password protected via the OS or the media account, social media account, with two-factor authentication. Bank statements and shit like that, taxes and stuff like that, I may be like, yeah, I may encrypt the folder that's holding on also, and maybe also encrypt the folder that's on, online backups and stuff like that, and folders, and have local backups, offline backups, online backups, and off-site backups. Get what I'm coming at here? It depends on what it is you're trying to secure. And then you have to look into what makes sense for this thing that you're trying to secure. Don't back up your backups. Like, that's what, third part. So, the minimum you should do as a... this is the minimum you have to do. Have one on-site, one off-site, one online backup. So on-site, that's thumb drive, I think that's how you spell thumb drive. Off-site could be mom's house. Online, that could be OneDrive. This is all. Most companies don't do more than this. And then, of course, they may have encrypted folder, encrypt folders and stuff like that. Password protected. Folders and files and stuff like that. But these things here, the files, the folders and whatnot here, they have a on-site backup, off-site backup, and online backup. And most people only have 2 of these, or a lot of companies. You at home, people watching me right now, if you do this, you can almost always get your data. And then on an individual level, you can go in and be like, do this folder need to be encrypted or password protected? Do this file need to be encrypted or password protected? You can get software that can encrypt a separate file and or folder. And within Linux, I think you can do it with a command line. It's built in, if I'm not mistaken, with Linux. So they can get your file and folder, but they can't access it because they don't have the decryption software. And you do that with the decryption tokens or just passwords and stuff like that. But if you're talking about, I just want to be able to access my data if something goes tits up, always have an on-site of the data. So let's say it's your skinny picture. The picture of you is where you're skinny in a bathing suit. Have that picture on site, on a thumb drive or something like that, in your home. Have a thumb drive with it on at your mom's house or your best friend's house or something like that, and have the same picture on Google Drive, OneDrive, pCloud. Use whatever the fuck you want. In this case, you're almost sure to always have access to your data. Then it's just like, what kind of individual data does that need to be encrypted and stuff like that? Never use password managers. Password managers is the biggest target for hackers, because if you're having a password manager, I don't have to hack all your fucking other stuff. I just have to hack your password manager. So you are trusting a lot of shit in one place. So that would basically equivalent to having everything only in one place. Don't use password managers. I got stuck on GNOME from now. Yeah, GNOME is kind of okay, I guess. It's just like, and back up your backup. Oh, I already read that. Yeah, but the advantages of quantum computing will crack encryption faster. Yeah, but we still... quantum computing is still... Until we have a 100,000 stable proven quantum computer running, I'm skeptical. I hate GTM. Yeah, GPT, I think Windows have something similar like that. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Are we screwed because of that? You think? No, we are not screwed, Johan. Don't need to be worried. And here's the thing. Don't get too hyped about quantum computing. A lot of it is still just theory and kind of proven concepts. And don't be too afraid. What we're talking about right now is for tinfoil hat people that are fucking, they think that they're the most important person on earth. Fuck the president, fuck the queen, fuck the king, fuck Bill Gates, fuck fucking Elon Musk. I am the most important person in the world. 99%, you have a 99 or 95% chance of going through your life with no issue at all when it comes to people wanting your data, taking your data, or misusing your data. Other than if you're stupid enough to send your bank account to the Nigerian prince. That's definitely not me, by the way. Yeah, I GNOME, I'm starting to warm up to GNOME in the fact that I don't give a fuck about GNOME. That's kind of where I am at. How about KeePass, which is offline? I don't care. No, here's the thing. The second you have everything, every password you are using in one place, that means that you only have to hack that one place. Again, if I want user data, I could hack Esnex's social media account, or I could hack Facebook. So a password manager is Facebook. That's how you should think about it. Here's something you should think about. Security would never be convenient and easy. So if it's easy and convenient for you to do it, it's less secure. The more easy and convenient it is, the less secure it is. Hey Will, how are you, man? Always think about it that way. The more easy and convenient it is to use and handle for you as an end user, the less secure it is. But it's unlike a social media, right? It's hard to know if someone is using a password manager. Yeah, but there are so many password managers that have been hacked over the years. Massively. Like, is it one pass? I think it's getting fucking cracked almost fucking monthly now. So if you really want to be secure online, each online account you have is associated with its own unique specific email address that's only handling in that account. It has a really, really unique password, really, really strong password. Welcome back, Lamer. With a lot of fucking letters and numbers and fucking things in it, and you're using 2 or 3 factor authentication. And then the next online account you have can have nothing similar to that other online account. You have to use a different fucking email address, totally different password, and again 2 or 3 factor authentication. Quantum computer is a bit of hype now. Yeah, it is hype, but I think it will, like, I'm not saying that quantum computing will not happen. I just think it's like, if it's going to happen, we are really far from it. But how will I remember all my password and phrases without a password manager? See, Johan. Exactly. And that's why they try to make security convenient, but in reality, you should use that big brain and that big dick energy that you're running around with and remember it all in your head perfectly. Or you have a really, really highly encrypted file with all that shit on it. Then we are going back to the password manager conundrum. You can have a thumb drive with it on, encrypted and everything. But then we're going back to the password. You know, it's convenient, therefore it's not secure. If you want to, again, we are going really out in the fucking woods right now, okay? You should have all of that in your head. It should not be written down anywhere or anything like that. You should have all that in your head. If you have a file with it on, you might as well use a password manager. I would say this though. Having a notepad or a text file with everything on it, encrypted on your system, you know, the file here is encrypted, or on a thumb drive and stuff like that, is probably more secure than having and then using a password manager. So if you need to have it written down somewhere or have it stored somewhere, do it yourself on a local file that is not called, here's my passwords, you know, call it something fucking crazy. Encrypt the living shit out of that specific file. You get what I'm coming at here? That, in my opinion, that's still more secure than using a password manager. Thermal crystals chips using light to replace electricity as a means to compute. I think, yeah, maybe. Again, I don't like to speculate about what's going to be the future, because that's all we're going to do. We're then going to talk about something that is all speculative and probably will not happen. There are certain things that you can say with a certainty is going to happen in the future, in the tech world. But quantum computing and photonic crystals and stuff like that, that's like, yeah, We might as well just wait for a guy to come down and blow your cock when you're sleeping. It's a general thought of password manager that is the issue. No matter how it works, it's an issue. Yeah, it's the fact that you're trusting your things with a third party. Do you use the same password anywhere or have a secret password file on your computer? Well, that's for me to know and you to not know. Hey, Lulu. Oh, we're just talking about everything in here. I'm just trying to see if my computer, or not computer, if Virtualware is crashing Windows. Because it used to do that on and off.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Google? Hey, Google. Shut up. I just activated my Google Assistant. Yeah, for some reason, Windows 11 in virtual machines has been really, really unstable. And VMware just got an update, so I'm going to see if that has helped with the stability of it. If you're afraid of hacking, just unplug the network. Yes, Martin, that's it. Yeah. Me thinking about trying to remember all my auto-generated password. Bitwall extension on Firefox. Don't use any of it. Then trying to go get password to cracking. Yeah, social engineering is definitely the best. What most people are doing right now. For what it's worth, Bitwarden self-host here. That's amazing. With chat disconnected. Yeah, sometimes chat can be a problem, Joseph. Well, it's not an interesting idea set. If you talk to any security expert, that's what they say. The easier it is to use, the less secure it is. The more convenient it is, the less secure it is. That's not something I just made up. It's a universal consensus within the security industry. What's the subject today? I'm gonna prove you wrong. We're talking security, apparently. Not a podcast, yeah. I can't even remember my friend's phone number. I can't even remember my own phone number. I think GNOME being on the most recommended distribution affects how new users perceive Linux. I switched a few times and will always switch back. I didn't feel as free as people always made Linux sound. Oh, let's talk about that. Yeah, thank you, Watertrack. Let's talk about that because I can fucking rant about that. I'm never tired of hearing you saying computers. I hope you got really hard right now. Isn't it safer than using a password? So Google listen to your... Yeah. I have Google Nest in my apartment. Yeah. So here's the thing. I have realized... And this is not good, but I have realized that I have no privacy anymore. As long as I'm logged into the internet, I have no privacy. I may have the illusion of privacy, but I don't really have it. And I don't give a fuck about what operating system you're running. You have no privacy if you're on the internet. So I do care about my privacy and who I'm giving it out to. But I'm also not a hypocrite in saying that, I care about privacy, that I'm using Google products. You get what I'm saying? I see too many fucking Linux YouTubers talking about telemetry is bad and privacy this with Windows, and then they're using fucking Facebook, and they're using Twitter, they're using, YouTube, they're having an Android phone. Like, all of those individually is doing way worse things to you than Microsoft and Windows could ever fucking do. So that's highly hypocritical. So yeah, I have acknowledged that the life we live today, if I want to be private, I will take a bucket and go out to the woods and live out there and shit in the bucket. You get what I'm saying here. Telling people GNOME is simple and gets out of the way doesn't make sense. No, it's not. GNOME is fucking awful. I remember watching IT Pros TV saying to use a password manager and make the master password strong as fuck. Yeah, don't believe that shit. Don't believe that shit. Like, I'm not saying that if you like using password tools, use password tools, okay? It's just, I just don't want to do it. Because I still, with all of the hacks, successful hacks that I have seen with password tools the last decade, I will rather have a text file that is encrypted on my local hard drive. Because there is less chance that people are going to purposely want to hack my computer for the sake of getting my password file. They are more than likely want to hack whatever database a password tool has. Because they're getting thousands of people's passwords and credentials, and not just mine. I use Google and Android phones talking about privacy. Google is the king of non-privacy. Yeah, but why? It's your PC. Tell me this. Why do Linux people say that Android and Chrome OS is the pinnacle of Linux computing and is the perfect example that Linux is the most used operating system in the world? By the way, Android and Chrome OS is not Linux. It's a fork. It's not Linux. But they use that as saying fuck you to Microsoft. Oh, I got a heart. I love hearts. If you live in the woods, take the time to dig a hole. Buckets are for carrying water. What if I want to be mobile, Esnick? What if I don't want to commit to one place? Freedom in Linux, but if you use the wrong software, not fuzzy sensitive like fanboys will curse at you. Exactly. I like the word Wilson, by the way, or the name Wilson. Most computers got hacked to be part of a botnet. Not most, but a lot of them do, yeah. They are fools, exactly, they are fools. It's a... No, don't say based, okay, Johan? Forked. Forked. Because if it's based, that means that you are highly compatible. And you also have to remember, Chrome OS and Android, most of the biggest part of Linux that they are using is the kernel, and up to 50% of that kernel is not even fucking Linux anymore. So I would not call it even Linux-based anymore. But I haven't heard that word in ages. Oh yeah, they're still a thing. Yeah. I leave Linux Ubuntu for just 3 days using it. I absolutely hate Linux. I'm fine using Windows. Yeah, I love Windows. Build your own Linux from scratch. Days of compiling from... Yeah. Fork from Gentoo, yeah. So here's, like... The last 3 months, I've been working in a new place. Doing IT stuff and stuff like that. And I hear the Linux people, oh, Windows is so fucking bad, it's so unstable, it just don't work. And I'm sitting there at work on my Windows machine, setting Windows machine up for amazingly people doing amazing work and doing developing on Windows and stuff like that. And none of them have problems. No crashes, no malware trying to take their kidney, no flying dildos all over the screens. No servers or routers or NAS taken down. Yeah. And it's everything from Windows 10 to 11. So I'm a little bit like, yeah. Yeah, use SUSE, by the way. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, SUSE is amazing. Gentoo is more like a toolbox. Yeah, I will agree with that. Linux people are just delusional. I think they kind of stepping away for a couple of minutes, switching to Linux Mint to see Bad Moon Rising. Yeah, go do that, man. I can't believe the Linux community likes Chromebooks so much. I have a perfect functional Chromebook sitting pricks Google stuff, updating it in 7 years. Oh shit. Holy crap. Windows is bad. Why do most people use it? They use it because Windows does what they want out of their operating system. It does what they want. That's why people are using this system. Like it provides. Yeah, is there bloatware? Yeah. This is my terminal. Oh, show you my terminal. Do I even have WinFETs installed on this one here? Yeah, I think I have. There you go. That's my terminal. Get your willies out and get nuts, people. This will make all the girls hot and bothered, man. Yeah. In Windows, just like, here's the thing. Windows 95 to like Windows XP Service Pack 2, I would agree. Then Windows XP Service Pack 2 was actually really fucking great. Windows 7 was amazing. You know, Windows 7 was actually really, really good. Windows 8 was actually also really good. It just did some UI changes that people didn't like. But it was like the technology was really, it was more stable, more secure. It was amazing. Windows 10, amazing. Windows 11, yeah, it has TPM, which is bullshit if you ask me, for the consumer, but makes sense for the pro versions and stuff like that. But it's still amazing. It gives people a great known experience that is massively stable and massively secure. You want to know what this company that I work for use as antivirus program? Windows fucking Defender. Windows fucking Defender. Okay? Like, yeah. Yes, I'm running Windows 11 in a VM. We are doing this stream to see, you know, how stable it is, because Windows 11 in virtual machines is notorious for crashing. Went from Windows to Linux 2 years ago after 25 years, but that was solely because I wanted a new change. Never had a problem with Windows. Yeah, I mostly also just want Linux just for the fun of it. I liked it. I just like it. I like operating systems, and I like to tinker with the operating system. OpenSUSE for the win. Yeah. Libs actually. Libs is a good system. Yeah. I use Linux, so my wife and kids on Windows, and we have perfect harmony at home. Yeah, that's amazing. Oh. Windows work well enough and came pre-installed. That's why most people use it. Even the fact that it's pre-installed. If Windows was really crap, they would find a way to get a better system. Trust me, they would. Oh, Windows 2000 was fucking amazing, yeah. And I loved, like, Windows 2000 was like, oh, that got my really all fucking crazy. Linux Mint is, I like Linux Mint. Windows is arguably the most capable system. Yeah, it probably is. It probably is. It does the most than any other operating system. You know, it provides most to the end user than any other operating system. Freedom is down to choice. It's nothing to do with what companies do with Linux. Yeah, Windows 10 is great. Yeah, I use Linux, but sometimes it makes my computer life not easier, just different. Yeah, Windows Defender is great. Isn't there a plus version? I think there is. There probably is, yeah. I'm Windows free. Yeah, I'm Herpes free, apparently. I use Windows 11 VirtualBox sometimes. I do homework that requires Windows. Yeah. My crashes have been really weird. Sometimes I could run Windows in my virtual machines at both VirtualBox and VMware for days and days and days and days and days and tens of hours with no problem. Then I do an update, it fucks up, or I just open a terminal and it crashes. It's really weird. Maybe it's because I'm on AMD hardware. I have no fucking idea. Linux for years, Linux for your server. Yeah, Linux for your server, 100,000 agree. And it depends on what you're doing with your server. Web services, file services, I 1,000% would agree with Linux on that. But as soon as I started to work as DevOps for cloud infrastructure, I moved to Linux because it's so much better. You develop for Linux and maintain Linux-based system. Yeah, yeah. It makes something I hate is that I see some fucking idiot doing Windows development, installing Linux to have Windows running in a virtual machine to test the software that they are building. If you're doing something for Windows, code under Windows. If you're doing Linux stuff, code under Linux. If you're doing Mac shit, code under Mac OS. It will make your life easier. It will make your fucking life easier. Windows 2000 was absolutely the best Microsoft ever made. I would say Windows 10 and 11 is fucking close up there, man. Yeah, Windows 10. Oh my god, Asterix is dropping the shit word. The S word. The last versions to install without activation. Yeah, that's true. From that aspect of it, it was yeah. Windows 2000 was not even a consumer level fucking version, Windows 2000 was meant for the prosumer and IT industry and not the consumer. I think the view your channel promotes where your OS isn't a live drive but a tool has helped me a lot. I always felt I had to pick an OS to use. After hearing your rants, I realize I can use both. Yeah, I do like my rants. But yeah, it's not a fucking lifestyle. It can be if you wanted to, but it don't have to. I did love Windows 1.8. I loved Windows 8. I ran Windows 8 when it came out and I loved it. I just didn't like the whole Metro UI system of it. But as a system, as an operating system, I liked it. So you have to use a Linux desktop environment. They are all shit. Yeah. 10 is okay. Don't much care for 11. I actually think 11 is better than Windows 10, if I'm being honest. Windows is a thing of the past for me. Don't look at it like that. Don't just disregard Windows forever. Look at it like this. Right now, I am using Linux. I love Linux. It does everything I need it to do. But that don't mean that I won't try other systems if that's what I want in the future. You know? Don't just say, oh, I'm only this person for this fucking system. Because then you're going into a mindset of limit perspective. Because you're already made a choice about something that you have no idea what's going to happen in the future. What if Linux dies on the desktop in the future? What if you can only run Linux on servers? For some weird fucking reason. I use MS VS Code in a BSD-based macOS to write Linux software with Homebrew and MacPort. Yeah, you're fucking crazy, man. Windows 7 was the last good Windows. Now, again, Windows 10 and Windows 11 are fucking amazing, if you ask me. Yeah, Windows Vista was... Yeah, that was kind of crap. I once installed Linux, but my server grew wild hair, didn't shower, and started eating its own food jams. Yep. When our grandma got a new desktop with Windows 8, she hated it until I installed... Yeah, the third-party menu, I remember that one. I like 2000 because it was the last version of Windows based on NT. It was the first... Oh, at least uploaded, sorry. Yeah, I was about to say every version from now on is NT based. The operating system debate is good and all, but why is it not the main format for... Yeah, that IT industry influence. That's why. If Linux desktop goes away, I'm using BSD. Go to another OS. That is another step back. Yeah. Excited for Windows 12. Yeah, I'm actually excited for Windows 12. Yeah, Looking Glass looked... yeah. Linux desktops is not good enough, man. I cross the bridge when I come to it. Yeah. BSD maybe. I like BSD. But for me, BSD is definitely way more server-only than Linux is. No need to activation of Linux if I use it occasionally. No hassle with hacking. Yeah, you can use Windows 10 and 11 for free. You don't have to, like, just download Bing software or Bing wallpapers, and then you can change your wallpaper. That's kind of like the only limitation there is that you can't customize it. Up to Windows Vista later in Vista's life. Yeah, later in the life it became way better, yeah. I've used Arch because it was the last and the greatest. Has the latest and greatest, but I also got the latest and greatest box, so I switched back to Ubuntu. So, yeah. Yeah, Windows 8.2, I think it was, and 8.1 and 8.2 was actually really, really, really great. I think Windows 11 would be great. Windows 12 would be great. Yeah, I've watched some videos about some shit that they're doing with Mac OS and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not going to get a Macintosh. I'm not sure if my hardware actually support Windows 11. Yeah, Arch Linux is way overrated. The leaked Windows 12 test, I think they said that it's like 2 or 3 years before we see anything Windows 12. Yeah, Windows 69, yeah. And I don't... Okay, there was no 8.2, okay. Yeah, use what works for you, yeah. Is Windows really free if you get put on telemetry as soon as you start installing it without internet either? Well, if Windows is free, yeah, you don't have to pay for it. But Windows is as free as YouTube and Google, and Android is free for you to use. Yeah, use Windows when you want to get work done, yeah, exactly. No, skip to Windows 14, yeah. So here's what I don't understand. Why don't they just forget about the version numbers of Windows and just call it Windows? You know, just call it Windows and then make Windows a rolling release, or even just keep it as it is. You know. Is it WinInfo or what the fuck is it called? I can't even remember now. No, I can't remember what the you know, just call it Windows 22 H2. So here's what they should be calling it. So the Windows that we're using right now should just be called Windows 2023 02. That's the version of Windows that I'm running. And then next month it will be Windows 2023 03. And then if they are doing, let's say, like, okay, now you need some new hardware requirements. Well, then you can ask me, what Windows do you use? Oh, I use Windows 2023, you know, .3. Okay, that's why you don't have these features that we have under 2025, 2024.054. You get what I'm coming at here. So the release number is basically just the month. See for getting down on our sublet and mention that you use Manjaro. I fucking love that. Yeah, exactly. Windows 10 was meant to be a rolling release. Yeah. No. Windows don't make any money on the consumer desktop at all. Not on the license anyway. It's peripherals, laptops, office suites, and stuff like that. Windows itself, they don't. I'm running Linux 6.2, yeah. Yeah, Windows 10 was supposed to be the last version of Windows, exactly, yeah. Marketing department demands release version. Yeah, but then you just make it, you know, the release version the year, just like what Ubuntu is doing. So they already have a release version. Yeah, of course, it's easy to remember. Yes, you are a Linux kernel version, Will. What kernel is Windows 11 using? The NT kernel. It's using the NT kernel. The NT, it stems down. So NT stems from the the Windows Enterprise version from the 90s. So think about it like this. I hope you guys can see this, by the way. Can I make a new tab? I thought you could tap in well, so in the 90s we had 95. That was the we had 95. That was the consumer version. Then we have Win NT. That was the the corporate. Let's just type corp here. But the NT kernel was way more advanced than the old kernel in 95. So they wanted to basically, so they don't have two different kernels, but only one kernel. It makes sense. Why code two different projects? Two different competing separate projects to some extent. If you have one kernel that does everything, both on the consumer and prosumer and corporate world. So that's why in Windows 2000 they did the NT kernel. And every Windows since Windows 2000 basically just have an updated version of the NT kernel. So it's just, instead of having two kernels or two separate projects within the companies or development lines, they just combine it into one. And then what is in the NT kernel can vary from, the server version to the consumer version, but it's still more or less one team to some extent. So why have two teams working on a kernel when you have one team working on a kernel? You get what I'm saying here. Oh, NC is not old. Oh my god. Oh, no, it's not old. Yeah, new technology, yeah, that's what it stands for, yeah. Oh yeah, AMD GPUs are fucking garbage on the Windows. Yeah, I will agree 1000% with you there. Yeah, IBM and OS2, yeah, you're right. Yeah, nice titties, yeah. Windows 2000 was the first one to have the NT kernel, but it was not a consumer level system, where XP was the first consumer level system to run NT. To be totally correct. Can you do a video setting up a DE on Windows subsystem for Linux? Why would you want to do that? Why do you want a desktop environment in Windows subsystem for Linux? Who is old enough to remember normal NetWare? Yep, here I am. Oh, you're talking about the NTFS file system. Okay. It was something up here I wanted to talk about. What the fuck was it? Not the freedom stuff, but something else. Oh, yeah. NC being old. No. So. Oh, just send emojis. I don't give a fuck. So, Linux is a monolithic kernel. That design is massively old. The NT kernel today is a hybrid. And I'm dyslexic, so there will be fucking spelling mistakes in here. Kernel that is much newer than the Linux kernel. If we are talking out of the most popular operating systems, so Mac OS, Linux, and Windows, the top 3 in the world, Linux is the only one still using a monolithic kernel design. Mac OS is using hyperkernel, Windows is using hyperkernel. And a hyperkernel is a mixture between monolithic and microkernels. So it can be smaller, more streamlined. You can build it with modules and stuff like that. Way more newer technology. That also means that under Windows, I can do stuff like this here. Look, people. I just restarted my display driver. You want to see it again, people? I just restarted my display driver. One more time for the kid in the back. I just restarted my display driver. That's what the hyperkernel allows me to do under Windows. If I did that under Linux, it will crash the whole system. So again, Mac OS and Windows, they have driver protected protection in the kernel. Linux don't have driver protected drivers. Which means that if your network card driver falls off or go tits up under Linux, it will take down your system. If your graphic card driver fucks up under Linux, it takes down your system. Under Windows, it just restarts. Hybrid or microkernel is not necessarily better than... I'm not saying better, I'm saying newer design. And technically, yes, hyperkernels are better than monolithic kernel from modularity standpoint. I think the only way a monolithic kernel is better is the speed. It's faster than any other kernel. The only benefit Linux has is the speed, but it's not like 100 times faster than any other kernel. You get what I'm saying here? If we were talking IoT devices or stuff like that, it may play into it. But from what you can do with a monolithic and microkernel versus a monolithic kernel, they are better designs. Yeah. Especially hyperkernels. But hyperkernels, they get the speed benefits of a monolithic kernel and the modularity and everything that you benefit from a microkernel. So, yeah. That's why they're doing it. And not to speak that I think the Windows kernel got almost totally rewritten in Windows 7 or 8 or something like that. Dynamically module loading in Linux is not the same, Yumaka. It's not the same. It's not how modules is working in a monolithic kernel. Like Estes is saying, it's because it's in memory space and stuff like that. It depends on how... I need to refresh a little bit on microkernels, but it's the way that it's designed and accessing the kernel that's different and stuff like that. Yeah, Minix was microkernel, came before Linux, yeah, but Windows is not a microkernel, it's a hybrid kernel. And technically, microkernels is... I'm not saying they are better than Linux or monolithic kernels, but they have some advantages where, like I said, a monolithic kernel versus a microkernel. A monolithic kernel is technically or theoretically faster than a microkernel. So that's why we now have hybrid kernels that gets the benefits of a microkernel and the benefits of a monolithic kernel. So, yeah, the NT kernel in its current state is a way more modern design, and probably also more technically advanced than the Linux kernel. Not mean that the Linux kernel is bad or that it's shit. It just means that it's not as technically advanced. And more technically advanced don't mean better either, by the way. I want to see Linux crash now, yeah. Oh, that is why you can crash your DE when updating your OS. Why the hell does I need to use TTY to update it? Yeah, exactly, Wilson. Yeah, Minix was a microkernel, yeah. Go look up the Linus Torvalds and Tannenbaum debate. It's fucking funny. Where they talk about microkernels versus monolithic kernels. There are benefits to all different architectures, yep. Oh, yeah. Linus likes monolithic kernels, yeah. I just... So I read an article, and for the life of me, I can't find that article. But I read an article where a Google developer was pissed off at the way that Linux does bug reports and stuff like that, because it's still via fucking email, or at least it was like 2 years ago when I read the article. A lot of the things that Linus does is so outdated and inefficient, apparently. Don't know that for a fact. But people that are developing and working with the Linux kernel development team, hey Benjamin, hope you're doing well, man, is saying that the way that the Linux kernel is being run and stuff like that is massively outdated. But he was bitching and moaning about that, and he said that Linux is like an old American muscle car. If it runs amazing, fast, amazing. But if one thing goes wrong, everything blows up. Everything blows up in your face. And that's kind of true. If you have one little fucking problem with Linux, almost everything fucks up for you. Rust all the way. No. Linux is not going to be rusted. No, it's not. The Rust fanboys is almost fucking more irritating than the Linux fanboys. It's not going to be rusted. They just enable you to be able to use Rust code in the kernel. And here's the thing, it's only on a fucking testing basis anyway. If they don't see a use for it, or it's not being utilized, it's getting out of the kernel again. Your freaking kernel panic, yeah. Like, Rust is not this end-all and be-all in programming. Rust is just... It's just another fucking system. It's just another coding system. Yeah, Pop OS, yeah, I have a video coming next week about Rust OS have fucking lost their marbles. System 76 is doing all the wrong things about They are focusing on developing a desktop environment and thinking that will make Linux more fucking useful. Linux problem is not the desktop environments. It's everything else. Linux is great with desktop environments. XFCE, Mate, Cinnamon, KDE, Pantheon. Way better than any fucking Mac OS and Windows system out there. From a usability standpoint, customizability standpoint, and stuff like that. That's not Windows' problem. It's not Windows' problem. Windows' problem is everything beside the desktop environments. Yeah, they need to be more consistent. Yeah, I'm not saying that they are perfect. But here's the thing, you don't need to develop a new desktop environment. We already have the top 3, XFCE, GNOME, and KDE. Why not focus on making them more unified? Making them more stable. And all of that shit instead of this is Linux in a nutshell, okay? Linux in a nutshell. Let's reinvent the wheel every 2 months. Let's redo work that's already been done and are working perfectly. Because I want different fucking color on the spokes. Let's forget about what everyone else have done up till now and reinvent everything again. And spend way too much time doing that shit to figure out it's not working. Then let's reinvent it again. Reinvent it again. Reinvent it again. Like the bipolarness of the Linux fucking development that's going on is fucking amazingly comical. Yeah, I know you disagree that you like your Mac OS, Will. I don't use DE. I'm not, no. Why make a Cosmic desktop? Why not take that development effort to help make GNOME better? Bocce 11 reinvent the wheel. I don't, like, here's the thing. I love Bocce. But why the fuck do we have it? Nobody asked for it. Pantheon, like Elementary OS, their whole fucking spokes thing, their whole ethos, their whole idea is a beautiful desktop environment. It's the Pantheon desktop, and it's failing miserably. Elementary OS is almost dead now. Because they tried to make Linux, they put lipstick on a pig, okay? They tried to make Linux look amazing, look great, be usable on a desktop environment, but they didn't fix the fucking shit that was wrong with Linux, that people want with Linux. People don't care about Pantheon. They want Photoshop. They don't care about Pantheon or Cosmic. They want peripheral support. They want hardware support. Fragmentation as a problem is a myth. No, it's not. Fragmentation as a problem for a product or a market is a scientific proven thing in marketing, business, and development. Fragmentation plus or what is it called? Not confirmation biased. Too many options. Option overload is a proven fact to be a problem. It's not a myth. And it do affect the user. It's proven that fragmentation can and will impact your product. Depends, of course, of the product, but yeah, in most cases, it's proven. If you read up just a little bit about marketing, user research, and stuff like that, yeah, you can find it really fucking easy. It's not a myth. It's a thing. What the fuck? Choice overload, that's the one I'm thinking about. Decision fatigue, yeah, exactly. It's a proven thing that companies are spending a lot of fucking money making sure that they have enough options, but not too many. Because no options is bad for the user. Too many options, fragmentation, is also bad for the consumer. We have to find the middle ground. They want the name, the branding, it's just a business. I don't like macOS, I have an M1 chip and it's nice to browse the web, blah blah blah. It doesn't have a fan, it looks nice, and that's it about it. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, the GNOME development team is really fucking fucked up, don't get me wrong there. Oh, it's definitely an ego game. It's definitely an ego game. It's definitely an ego game. I think from somewhat of a market's point of view, making a DE makes sense. Most normal users is Windows don't see DE as separate from the OS. It makes no sense. Here's the thing, if they should make a new desktop environment, they should make one that is way easier for people to use if they are Windows users. Because most people that are going to use System76 systems are Windows users. Hey, we already have that called KDE. Not enough people use Linux for companies to put their software. People won't use Linux because the software isn't really available. Yeah, it's a myth as applied to Linux. Linux is not a product. It will just use a product. Linux is a product. Linux is a product. It's a set of tools. No, Linux is not a set of tools. Well, even if it's a set of tools, they are a product also. They are exactly a product. Linux is a product. Linux is marketed as a product. Why the fuck do you think Ubuntu use Linux in their name? Because there is marketing power behind Linux. It is a product. Redux OS won't take off. Forget about that. The developer that did that, he's working for System76. I don't think it's being developed that much anymore. Because a lot of the Rust developers are actually doing Cosmic OS right now. Linux is a product. There's no fucking way about it. Heck, everything to some degree is a product if you want to go into that crazy detail. The biggest problem with Linux is the lack of standardization. Well, not really lack of standardization. It's the willingness of adhering to the standardization. Linux could take over macOS in market share if they just got their fucking act together. Because a lot of companies don't want to support Linux because of the fragmentation. Okay, you say Linux is not a product. Linux operating system, GNU Linux, more than Linux, linux.org. Oh, that's not the one I want, sorry. The Free Software Foundation is marketing Linux as a product. They are sponsoring Linux. It is definitely a product. Individual distributions is a product, but Linux is also a product. Where the fuck is the Linux site? Oh, it's definitely a product. It's definitely a product. The Linux Foundation, that's the one I was looking at. The Linux Foundation. Am I just totally fucking being crazy? Training and certificate, it's a product. Why would you have certifications and training for something that's not a product? Like, Linux is a product, and you want to know something else? Oh, that's not what I want. Linux. Where the fuck is it? Why can't I find it? The kernel in of itself is being handled as a product because that kernel is being marketed for IoT devices, for mobile devices and stuff like that. Linux in of itself is a product. It's just a component product of what even a component can be a product. A wheel for a car, you know, your rims and your tires are made up of two different components that each individual is also a product that is then built on a car that's in of itself also a product. So Michelin, the tire, you know, the tire is a product for the company Michelin. The Ricardo or whatever the fuck, the ETC or what the fuck the BMI or what the fuck the wheels are called, the hubs are called, are a product in of themselves. But together with the tire and the wheel hub is making a tire, a wheel for a car. Sorry. So just because you are a product that are a component of a total system, that don't mean that you're not an individual product. Mir, that's part of Linux and Ubuntu, is also a separate product within the Ubuntu line. But who is the product targeted for? IoT people, research and development people, mobile device people and stuff like that. That's who the Linux product is targeted for. Why the fuck am I using Edge again? Why? My brain is really fucking crazy. Linux is not a product. Is it techie, Islamists, or companies? Linux is targeted. So here's the thing. You want to know what Linux really marketed position is. Like, this is what Linux is for. This is Linux Kube. Web servers. IoT and small devices. Mobile and handheld. This is Linux. This is Linux. This is what Linux is being developed for. This is Linux target group. And you can see that by where is Linux dominant. Well, Linux is dominant, or versions of forks of Linux is dominant in the mobile space, in the handheld space. Linux is massively dominant, or not dominant, dominating in the IoT and small devices sphere. The same with research and development and stuff like that. And on the supercomputers, yeah, but supercomputers are such a niche thing that is really not, it's too niche. But yeah, supercomputers, whatever, yeah. And for the most, and web server technologies. This is we could put supercomputers in there. Let's do that to make people happy. This is who Linux is for. R&D. Where is the research and development? But Linux as a kernel cannot perform any of those tasks. It takes a complete distribution to perform. No, it's not. In IoT devices, you're only running the kernel with a really limited user land. Yeah, it does a lot more. But that's not the target group. Like, I can also run. I can also swim. I'm just not good at it. I'll probably fucking have a heart attack, but I can do it. You know, I know 2 words in Spanish. That don't mean that I'm a fucking professor in the Spanish language. Just because you can do something don't mean that that's what, you know, what you are meant to be or meant to do or good at or targeted at. You want to see a product in a product. Let me really spell it out for you. We have a car wheel. Okay? This here is a product that you use on a car. That's also a product. Estic, you're totally fucking forgetting this. Okay. What is an industrial robot doing for the end user that are taking one item and picking it up and putting it in a box? That probably run Linux. What is that doing for the end user? Nothing. Nothing useful for the end user. Other than controlling the robot. The robot is doing something for the end user. Like, you're looking at Linux as a desktop, a consumer product. Linux is not a consumer product. It can be a consumer product. And Linux is a consumer product in the way that you are using a product that are using Linux in the back end. So if you're buying a Samsung television, you're not buying Linux, you're buying the television. But it's probably running the Linux kernel in the back end with a little bit of Samsung Magic on top of it. So Linux is the product for Samsung to use in their product. That's the television. Like, the tire rim is a product from one company. The tire is a product from another company. that combined make a tire that then is put on a car. Where the car is actually the only thing that is beneficial and useful for the end user. But you need components and products from other companies that are beneficial for the car manufacturer, aka Samsung. And you don't have to pay for something for it to be a product. My channel here is a product. Paper is a product. Dirt can be a product, or is a product. And how do this rim and this wheel benefit you as the end user? Well, this specific one here, not at all if you don't want it. But if you want it, it will benefit you, and it gives the car an ability to roll on the fucking, drive. But Linux could be the rim. But that is why fragmentation means nothing to the end user, because the user is just using a distro and it's unaffected by dozens of versions of desktops. And so, okay, Linux don't. If I'm going to make your fucking strawman argument sense here, fragmentation means nothing for the Linux kernel because there's no fragmentation in the Linux kernel. The Linux kernel is not fragmented. The fragmentation problem is the distributions and the desktop environments. But because we all like to call them Linux distributions, that's a terminology we all agreed on we calling them. Well, that means that Linux is fragmented by that definition. But if you're going to be technical correct, it's not Linux being fragmented, it's the distribution ecosystem within Linux that's fragmented. It's the package management ecosystem within Linux that's fragmented. It's the desktop environment ecosystem within Linux that's fragmented. If we're going to be fucking amazingly technical about it. But you don't call Ubuntu a Linux compatible system. You call it Ubuntu Linux. When in reality, Ubuntu is not Linux. It's a Linux compatible system. Because Ubuntu don't use the vanilla Linux kernel. So, for a Linux... so here's the thing. The fragmentation problem within tire manufacturers is not a problem. But the fragmentation within cars is. Just because something don't affect you don't mean that it's not true. I am not affected by a lot of fucking things that don't mean that they are not true. I am not affected by the heat in Phoenix, Arizona. Therefore, there must not be any place on earth that's fucking hotter that you're sweating your balls off. Just because you and Estek, you are not... This is typical fucking Linux mentality. You are not the standard of what things is. You are not the person we look at to measure how things is in the world and what is right and true in this world. You are a meaningless nobody in this world, and your experience alone don't dictate what everyone else is experiencing and feeling and seeing and have to deal with. Fragmentation may not be a problem for you, but it's a problem for Linux. It's a proven problem, for Linux. A lot of people don't try Linux or use things for a long time because of the problems with too many options, fragmentation and stuff like that. If you download and use SUSE, why do you care about other distributions? Because more users to Linux benefits SUSE. Okay? A better standard within desktop environments will give SUSE a better desktop environment. if we were only focusing on XFCE, GNOME, and KDE, and every other fucking desktop environment, if all of that effort that was put into i3 and tiling Windows managers, Mate and Cinnamon, if all of that, if 50% of that effort was put into those 3 desktop environments, that means KDE would become massively better. GNOME will become massively better. XFCE will become massively better. But because everyone is trying, or not everyone, because a lot of people, are, instead of making XFCE better, they're doing their own thing. Instead of making GNOME better, they're doing their own thing. So instead of trying to make some things work well, we are making a lot of shitty shit. People do bitch and moan about too many options in sodas. That's actually an experiment that have been made. Here, the paradox of choice. And I think they actually did the soda fucking experiment. And you also have to remember something else. It all depends on what market you are in. What works for the car industry don't work for the computing industry. What works for the fucking lipstick industry don't work for the flying dildo industry. What works for the psychologist industry don't work for the nurse industry. So you can't say that, oh, we all like that we have different options for food. So why don't we like that with technology? Because it's two really, really, really different places. People are interacting with technology different than they're interacting with food. They are mentally interacting differently with it. It's like night and day. Linux is not a beverage. Linux is not Coca-Cola. And you see it with sodas. There are many companies that try new soda flavors. And they stick around for 6 months and nobody wants to buy them because, oh, here's another one. Well, I know this one that I've been drinking for fucking decades. I don't care for anything rest. The more is not better. No, yeah, it's an open system. And everyone is allowed to do it. That's right. They are. But that don't mean it's better. Show me a scientific fact that says that that's better. Yeah, we like flying dildos over here, Levitius. Yeah, now you're just being a fucking idiot. You're just being a troll. But another thing about Linux, why Linux to kind of draw in... Oh, that's not what I want. To draw in this whole argument up here, look at the people contributing to Linux. How so this... No, as the... Let me say this in a way that you probably can understand. For a really, really intelligent, smart person, you are saying some really, really stupid, unresearched things right now. I actually spent time researching this fucking shit. I've had marketing courses. You know, I've been to marketing courses and stuff like that. And this is what they told me. Granted, it's over 10 years ago, but I doubt it's changed much to this day, other than YouTube is being more prominent and stuff like that. I have had marketing friends that we have lengthy debate about this with. I've talked to people selling IT software infrastructures and shit like that, and I have all of the things you said to me right now, I have said to them. And what I'm telling you is what they are coming back to me with. And in certain areas, like technology, like why don't we have like hundreds of mobile phones manufacturers that are massively popular? If you think about how many do we have? We have, let's type it down so it's a little bit more easy to remember. So we have Google, we have Nokia, we have Samsung, we have Apple, OnePlus, Huawei, however the fuck you spell that, and you have Xiaomi. However the fuck you spell that. This is kinda... Oh, thanks so much, Kevin. This is kinda the most popular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mobile phones that we people that we have right here. Out of those, which one is actually really the ones competing? Well, technically, there are only 3. Samsung, Apple, and Xiaomi. You're trying to apply marketing principles to an openly development system where freedom is highly valued. No, nobody gives about freedom with Linux. All right. Like nobody gives about any. Like nobody cares about that you can see the code other than developers. Okay? The end consumer don't give a flying dildo in hell about open source and freedom of the code. Only developers care about that. Like the whole freedom aspect of it is so fucking mind-bending that my penis just fucking melted off my body. Yeah, LG's phones are dead, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to spell that fucking name. I'm dyslexic. Well, I'm just going to ignore everything you say from now on, Esnik. So here's the thing. No, get your OS from user, it won't work. Developers are depending on the users. Like, if you are a developer and you are going to develop for Linux or something like that, or you want to learn development, or you want to do anything, stop arguing with your mod, for fuck's sake. Not a good look. No, I don't give a fuck about if he's a mod. If he says stupid shit, I'm going to say he's saying stupid shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, this whole notion that, oh, it's okay to let people say stupid shit. No, it's not. It's like... Here's the thing. Esnik is saying what the typical fucking Linux YouTuber is saying. You know? And that's the problem. And he knows it. And he knows it winds me up. He knows it. Because it's doing a disservice to Linux. If I didn't give a fuck about Linux, I would not be talking about this shit. You know? If I was just like, fuck Linux, I don't give a fuck about Linux, I would not care about this. But using Linux for 25 plus years and seeing how the community is ruining Linux from the inside. A operating system that I think has a really good fucking merit or a good... Like, Linux can do a lot of great things in the computing world, and are doing a lot of great things in the computing world. And then you see those fucking asshats trying to ruin that. And it's not because of the openness of the code, or freedom, or you know, this whole fucking hippie philosophy. Yeah, Samsung has had some problems with some of their products. Yeah. Oh yeah, Richard Stallman has done a lot of harm to Linux, yeah. And the community. So, SDIC has a problem. I'm not calling it a problem. Well, it is a problem. SDIC suffers from I want to be a special, unique little snowflake syndrome. He likes to be an outsider. I think I will call it an outsider, but he likes to do something that's not everyone is doing. He's like, what hipsters are in the real world, that's SDIC in the computing world. So when something becomes mainstream, SDIC loses interest in it. Like a hipster. Like, some years ago, all hipsters in the fucking world had like record players, you know, vinyl record players. When that became mainstream again, it's like, no, it's not good enough anymore. Everyone is doing it. The populace has ruined records now. Now we're going to, I don't know, bread made from yeast from a fucking vegan's vagina or something like that. You know, they now you insult me, but it's true. It's true. A lot of people, they want to be special and feel special. Yeah, I heard CDs are coming back. Yeah, that would be the next thing. You know, they are doing. They are trying to jump or use things to make them. Again, I'm just speculating here, but I think it's to make them look more interesting than everyone else. You know. They're trying to be better than you and more insightful than you. You know, try and go and have a fucking beer with a hippie or a hipster, especially a hipster. They have this specific fucking IPA or whatever special beer that only they drink, and they will not shut their mouth up about it. And I say this a lot of times, and then if Budweiser buys it out, and nothing changed with the beer other than now Budweiser owns it, it's not their beer anymore. Then you find some other fucking really awful, badly tasted beer that they for some reason like because it's really unique and special, and they don't want to shut their mouth about it. Think about it. I'm just basically explaining how most Linux users are. This is the typical Linux user. You know? Oh yeah, VSH tips. And floppy disk is now the next big thing, man. Oh, you love the vegan vagina yeast. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, it's fucking like and I will admit this, I got fucking dragged into that whole Linux mentality myself in my early days with Linux. Like the late 90s, early 2000s. I got sucked in because it's... Like, imagine this. You're just sitting at home, liking electronics and computers and stuff like that. And then you find this operating system. Yeah, we all have a Linux phase, exactly. And then you use that system and people are telling you, this is fucking amazing, this is great. You are now part of an elite user group that have found something special and something holy or whatever you will call it. You know, you've seen the fucking light, my friend. You found the path. You have found the path. You've seen the light. You've seen what others have not seen. You have understood what others have not understood. You have comprehended something that normies can't comprehend. You must be an intelligent and insightful person for being able to do that. Imagine being told that as a fucking teenager and young adult by installing Linux. And it's not just one person telling, it's like hundreds of persons telling you that shit. You start to believe it. Of course I've seen the light. Of course I'm the fucking smartest person on earth, man. You know, and you buy into all of that shit. You feel part of the group. They are really nice to you and stuff like that. Until you say, well, I have to go to work and use Windows. And then they start to fucking come after you with the pitchforks and stuff like that. And you have to explain and excuse for them that you're using Windows, sorry. You have to sit there and kind of like, you know, cleanse your soul every Sunday to the Linux guards, the Linux preachers, and say, I'm sorry, I've sinned, I've used Windows and proprietary software the last week. I was forced, I did bitch and moan, I did say the magic words with the Stallman, Free Software Foundation, and Linux. I did my best to not be sucked in and using proprietary software in Windows and or Mac OS. I did my best. Please forgive me, fathers. Please forgive me. I did everything I could, but I had to feed my family. I need to pay the rent. But I'm doing my best to bitch and moan about Windows and closed source software. Every fucking break we have, every meeting we have, I will praise the Lord Linux and say the open source gospel and showing them the shining light that is the GPL. And reminding every Windows user I see on my path to my desk about how bad of a person they are and they should be castrated or have their vagina sewn together for using Windows and proprietary software. Mac users, you're a little bit okay. Please forgive me, Father. That's kind of the mentality that those Linux users, and you see it today. If you go onto forums and they're like, yeah, I use Linux at home, but sadly enough, I have to have a Windows machine. And then they kind of making excuses and making, oh, I know it's really bad that I have a Windows machine, but I really need it. And, you know, like, who gives a fuck if you have a Windows machine? Who gives a fuck if you have to use proprietary software? No one. Like, but that's the mentality of those people. And I was 1000% like that when I was when I was using Linux in the first 10 years of Linux. I was exactly like that. Here's how fucking stupid I was, okay? And I'm not joking here. This is what I did. If I was out shopping with my brother or my mom, I would go into the local fucking computing store to get my testosterone back up to a normal level. And I would find a sales rep. Where's the Linux machines? Why is there no Linux boxes in here? You do know that it's a bad Windows system you have right there. You do know it's anti-consumer and privacy and blah, blah, blah. I would argue for an hour with those fucking sales rep. At work, I would hunt down the fucking IT department to say, Linux, GPL, open source, come at me, bro. Yeah, I've done that fucking shit. And I'm not proud of it, to be honest. I was being the vegan that was like, I will not eat with you if you don't eat vegan. We cannot be friends if you are not a vegan. Yeah, I was a massive fucking cunt. I was a massive fucking cunt. Like, I was way worse than DistroTube, Luke Smith, eBoss Central, LinuxCast together. Like, I everywhere I just noticed proprietary software or Windows, I would go off on a rant and not yelling and screaming, but oh my god, I would go mad about them. And I would, like, if I could, I would say to people, don't buy that shit. It's Windows. Yeah, searching for porn on Linux is amazing. You don't get a lot of viruses. I will agree with that. I know exactly where the fuck they are coming from. And that's why I can tell that they are full of fucking bullshit. Because that's not the world. I was living in a world that don't exist. You know, I was living in this open source Linux world that don't exist. There will never be an only Linux world and only open source world. But that's the world the Linux community want. It will never exist. That's the world Richard Stallman wants. It will never exist. And when you start to work, and especially have something to do with IT, you figure out really fast that will never happen. There will always be a Windows or Windows-like things, you know, proprietary software, this and stuff like that. And there will always be open source and Linux systems. Or Linux-like system, free BSDs, and, you know... Like, if we're going to be really fucking, like, morbid about it, what Linux want is an ethnic cleansing of anything that's not open source and Linux. That's what the Linux community want. They want a total annihilation of anything that is not upholding to their unique view on the world. That's what they want. No, Microsoft don't give a fuck. The only thing Microsoft care about is what makes them money. The second open source and being Linux friendly don't make them money, they will go over to something else. Oh, Unix porn is actually a really good place to look at. Yeah. Like Microsoft, they don't give a fuck about... Microsoft in the 90s, I would agree, 90s, early 2000s, they want to be the dominant force in the world. I would say, 1000. Like the Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer area of Microsoft, I would agree with you. But the modern or current day Microsoft, they are just like Apple. What makes them money? If that means that we have to kiss ass to Linux and open source once in a while, if that's what the consumers want, hey, that's what we are doing. But where Linux stay? No. I got a software engineering internship and I'm required to have Windows for the job, and that's okay. Linux isn't everything. Yeah, I use... Like, I do... What the fuck do I do? In IT infrastructure. And... projects. Like... They have a lot of projects they want me to do. So it's like they have an idea of, can we get a machine to do this, or can we build a machine to do that? And then I help them. You know, they help me build that machine. It's not probably a better word. You know, can you learn to do this so we can make a machine do that? Can you learn to do this to build a thing to do that? Beside doing that IT infrastructure thing. That's kind of my job. It's a really weird job that I have when I think about it. It can be setting up a Windows machine and then, you know, coming up with or working on an idea to build a total new fucking concept of automation thing. Like, they have a lot of automation they want to be done in form of basically machines doing the work for the human. That is not even a product anymore. Or if it is a product, it costs thousands and thousands of dollars, where they are like, can we build something our own that's cheaper and just as usable and maybe more mobile? Yeah, automation, but it's not just automation in a software way. It's like a robotic automation. It can be sensor automation. It could be making machines that help with inventory, for example, inventory tracking and stuff like that. Sounds like a check. No, it's actually really, really interesting. Wouldn't that be Linux based? No, it's actually Windows and the machine that the machine, or what you will call it, that I'm making right now is Arduino based. I don't know what the fuck the operating system for Arduino is. I have no fucking idea. Yeah, it's a microboard, so they don't have a full-fledged operating system. That's a Raspberry. Internet of Things, yeah, that's another thing that they're working on. I use Linux, but stay quiet in the community. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. You will. I'm in talk about actually when we get this to work, the machine to work. I want to take pictures of it and show you guys it, and maybe there's even talk about releasing the source code for it. So my idea is, because the thing that we are making, oh, that's not so it's actually something like this. Like this. So it's actually something like this here, but way smaller than this and way more simple. It's actually exactly like this. It's just like, think about it, way smaller. And instead of having a display here, it talks to a software. So when they are when they are going to package and send out a package, a parcel, they are measuring it, and then that the weight, the dimension is being set into the internal software that they made in-house. Like they made that in-house. The software, there's no other software like it in the world. Then all of those data being sent to the packaging department, and then printing out the labels and sending out the packaging, the expedition or sales department that then are sending it out with a courier. So all the person has to do is put the thing in the package, tape it up, put it in here, click a button on the software, and then everything they need to, to basically send out the parcel is made for him or for them. So they just have to print it out. I want a small vision for the internet, yeah. Packages, so my dyslexia is acting up the virtues today massively. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you have an NDA, who don't want to have to spill out the... No, so... It's already, see, there's already a thing like this here. See, it's also here. But the thing is that these machines here, they cost an arm and a leg. Like, they cost an arm and a leg. The one that they were looking at getting cost 70,000 euros, I think it was. 70,000 euros. The machine that we have made probably cost you about, with the fucking electronics, if you have to buy the electronics yourself, like the Arduino and the parts, that would be about $30. And then the contraption that you put it in, you can probably make for like $10 out of plywood. So let's be generous and say that the system that they have at work right now costs like $200. Well, developing it, so I spent a lot of time developing it. So if you have to put in salary, man hours, that it starts to get expensive. But this machine here, they didn't just invent this. They put a lot of research and development into it. They put a lot of manpowers into it. But so you can't really account for it. So the amount of manpowers that I have spent making this machine with the software developers is probably less than they have spent making this one here. Yeah, so hey, the idea is to actually add this idea for the company is that what if you could sell this to small companies in a small, because we don't need, and a lot of companies don't need, you know, machines like this that needs to measure a lot of fucking big parcels. In most small companies, they send out small products for the most part. So what if the company could make a smaller version of this that is like 50% or less the price? They could sell shit ton of them. Right, it's actually working right now. The biggest problem we have is making the Arduino talk to the internal software. When the Arduino starts to talk to the internal software, it's working. Then it's just a matter of testing it. How reliable is it? And stuff like that. Are the sensors good enough for what we are doing? But it will probably cost... I don't know what the fuck these machines say they cost. But I will not be surprised if this is costing thousands of dollars. And the machine that we are doing... Yeah, a serial port, right? Yeah, that's right, yeah. And we have some issues with getting it to work. The fuck is this? How can I get the dimension? Fucking hell, this is... this is actually really smart. Yeah, they're using... I think he's using something called Lambda with the C#. I'm not involved with the software part of things. Like when I say software, I mean the internal software system part of thing. That's another guy doing that. I'm the Arduino building this thing kind of side, and then he's working on making the communication from the software and you know, the user interface and stuff like that. And I think the problem is right now that it's not picking it up or something like it sees the signal, but it's not picking it up. We got it to buffer a little bit, but yeah. This is actually really fucking... How much does this cost? $100 per month. Holy shit. $100 a month. And then imagine that you could sell a system for $200 or $300, a one-time purchase that did all that, and then the company could make money on, you know, customer support and stuff like that. Wow, this is fucking expensive. Holy shit. Here's another version of it. I need to save this because I need to show my boss these things here. But yeah, it's kind of the same principle as this one here. But why can't we see what it cost? Okay, so they're using lasers to measure. We are using ultrasound. They're using a stream camera. This is a Logitech C920. This is probably also thousands of dollars or something like that. What does this cost? Maybe do something like this. There's another version of it here. Again, it looks a lot like what the things that they're trying to do down there. But I kind of want to see how expensive they are. They probably cost thousands of fucking dollars. But if you think about it, it's really simple. We just don't have this display here. Maybe we should build that. Yeah. Go to sleep, man. Go to sleep. Yeah, you'll probably have to contact them for pricing. So here's my thought about it, because I knew this existed to begin with. So let's look at it from a business standpoint here. I'm not a business guy whatsoever. Oh yeah, Taco is actually amazing. You keep killing some shit, man, and get some loot. But if you look at these things here, they are really expensive and big and bulky, and they're probably also really, really difficult to set up. The machine that we have where I work, you can carry that yourself. Like, you can pick it up and carry it. And all you need is to connect it to a computer with a USB stick. That's all you need to do. And for a lot of companies, that's all they need, if you ask me. So instead of spending thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of, or maybe not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of dollars for having this big monstrosity around, stuff like this here that's massively big. This is a whole parcel, like a pallet, that's way too big. This here could be a little bit smaller, but it's you see, this is massively expensive. And these here is also like kind of big and bulky, and also kind of expensive, I guess. But most companies, they probably want this feature, but they don't need the volume. This is what I'm thinking, is that for a lot of like 10-person people, small little mom and pop companies and stuff like that, they don't need all of this that goes through a fucking assembly chain or production line. They may have one person, in the packaging department, manually packing shit into packages or parcels. That's the people that I think could be a target group for it. So let's say you have like one of those youth workers that works a couple of hours after school every day. They don't have to weigh and measure the fucking parcel. They just put stuff in it, tape it up, put it in that machine, and then the shipping department gets all the information. And then she or he can then package another one, put it on there, type in, the shipping info, the internal code so they know where to ship it to. It's just being automated. Even automate the fucking, post destination and stuff like that. Could be amazing. I hope, like, don't send it to big corporations, but send it to small mom and pop and, small companies that are doing a lot of shipping. It could save them. So if it's safe, let's say save the person 1 minute a day or per parcel. 1 minute per packaging parcel. If you do 60, that's an hour saved. Like, if you're saving a minute every time you're packaging something, 60, that's an hour. And it can really be beneficial in the long run. But I think that if they are going to sell it, they need a display, because I don't think everyone wants their own internal software, management system, or have their own internal management system for stock management system and stuff like that. So they just need to see how long, the X, Y, and Z dimension and the weight, and then they can type it down on a piece of paper. Or even print it out on a label. Or you could probably do it with a drone. You just have the drone to basically fly over it and then take the side, the two sides. This side and this side and this side. So if I need to save these. If you go into Paint. We have top, left side, and right side. It just needs to basically take the dimension of these three sides. So just have to fly over, wank, and fly on this side and this side. Then it has the dimension of the package. But why? Like, it would be way unstable with a drone, though. It's also way too complicated. Like, you have to balance it. You have to make sure that you have anti-vibration cameras and stuff like that. It becomes really expensive really fast. really fast. And that's like, and at that price, I think you might as well just buy one of these. At that price point. But yeah, I hope I can share that with you guys and girls at some point. Rotate and scan it. Well, you don't need... Again, it becomes... Like now you have an engine, some form of device that rotates a platter. It's too complicated. It's still just easy to just plop it down on something like this. Just plop it. You don't have to rotate it. Here, this... It takes under a second to get the measurement in a machine like this. In a second, you know exactly how big this is. But then imagine having a machine you rotate. Like, rotating would be great for... Like, if you're taking something and making a 3D replica of it. Like, if you want a 3D representation of this box, yeah, it will make a good idea. But then you have, you know, the added complexity of something turning around. Like this kind of thing here with like 3 sensors and just put it on basically a surface is probably the most convenient and fastest way of doing it. Like the sensors that we are using, they need, for them to send the signal and receive it, it's about 20 milliseconds. For them to say bing bong, now we know how big it is. It's about, at a minimum, 20 milliseconds, or about 20 plus milliseconds. If you go under 20 milliseconds, it's not done yet. So depending on how far the distance is, I think it's between 20 to 30 milliseconds it takes from the shortest distance to the longest distance. Like, it's like, yeah, it's stupidly fast. So in under a second, you can get all these 3 dimensions if you really, really wanted to. I don't think you can do that with a rotating scanner. Like, they are stupidly fast, those sensors. I did a test at the machine and rig that we have. If you give each sensor 50 milliseconds, it should be enough. Here's another thing. So here's the way that it runs right now. This one scans, this one scans, this one scans. This scans for 50 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds. Oh no, 100 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds. That has been shown to be the most stable, like where the measurement is the most stable. You know, there's not so much fluctuation between what the real package is and what it is measuring. But theoretically, you could just get all of them to do it at the same time. But I'm doing that because I'm afraid that because it's sound waves that we are using, I don't want this one to pick this one's sound waves up. It's basically working as a sonar. So if this one is pinging this side, I don't want this one to pick a reciterant, sounds up. But yeah, I'm going to save these because I'm going to show my boss these machines. But I hope I can, when we're getting it to work, I hope I can get permission to show some pictures of it and maybe even the code. I don't think they have a problem with the code. And again, it's not like they're doing anything that's not been done before, so, it's not like they are inventing a totally new concept or machine. Like, clearly it's been done before. clearly it's been done before, so I can't see that there should be any. The only secrets that I can see that should be that they maybe not want is like how it's talking with the in-house built software that they have made themselves and stuff like that. For that is really unique to the kind of business that they are running also. That I can understand that they probably would not have or probably would have a problem with, because there's probably a lot of intellectual properties going into. I don't know, but that I could expect this. But like I said, this is not anything new that they are doing with the parcel measurement machine. It's just cheaper than buying a machine to make one yourself. And also, all the ones that they have shown me was way bigger than they have room for. It's like 60. It's 60 by 60 by 60. Like that's the dimension of the box that are measuring stuff. Where all of these here are way bigger than that. We need to do like the Linux community and consistently reinvent the wheel. Well, like I said, they are kind of reinventing the wheel, but they're doing it in a smaller scale than these here are. That's the whole thing, is that it's not taking up that much room, and it's cheaper and lighter than any of the commercial available places are. So that also means that it's easier to move around, which I think would be a massive selling point for them. But it's stuff like that I'm doing with them also. That's the project side of things that I find really, really highly. Honestly, I'd rather do stuff like this here, help them build machines like this and come up with new ideas and other ideas of doing stuff like this in a new way than doing, infrastructure, to be honest. Setting up networks and NAS systems and stuff like that, yeah, that's fun and all, but here, this is way more, like, you kind of playing a little bit like an, it's a little bit like, you're putting your not inventor hat, because I'm not inventing anything, but there's a lot more experimentation with those things, You're experimenting, you're trying stuff out, you're learning things. You're always reevaluating how can we do this in a different way, or in a better way, or in a smaller form factor, To me, that's really interesting. Okay, so these are the ultra sensors that they're using. First I'm listening on stream here. How are things in Denmark? Yeah, I'm from Denmark. Yeah, it's fine, man. It's fine. And this is even in Danish. This probably costs an arm and a leg. So each sensor that we are using cost about $3. Yeah, $6.50 for one sensor. Oh, $3.50 for one sensor. So $3.50 for one sensor. These here probably cost fucking $50 or $60 or something like that. And I think if you can do that in that scale for that price, and it's reliable. Yeah, here it's like, yeah, they are. They are probably way more accurate, these kind of sensors here. But you don't need to be like massively fucking accurate. If you're getting at the parcel dimensions, like if you're deviating with like 4 millimeters or something like that, that's totally fine. And you're doing it for like 100 times less than this fucking sensor cost. So this one here, where do we have the good old United States of America? Yeah, so they are doing the same with a sensor that costs $3.50 versus they are doing it with a sensor costing $500. And that's why I talked to my boss, like there could be a market here if you can do the same thing on a small factor, mobile factor, for small companies for way fucking less. There must be a market for it. There must be a market for it. Yeah, you're right, Asbjørn. Yeah. And here's I probably will not. Yeah, I should probably not talk about the money making idea I have with how they can make money with other than just selling it. But yeah, I have talked with them about that, like how they should sell it and what goes with the sell and stuff like that. So, but I will probably not mention that because that's giving away too much. But I have ideas on how you can package and sell it, and have like a money making not scheme. It sounds like it's a fucking Ponzi scheme, but how, even though that if they make the product really cheap, how they can earn money in other avenues with the product, associating with the product. And it's not just customer support. It's way different ways of doing it. But yeah, but imagine you could sell a machine for small companies that normally will cost them just $10,000, and you can sell it for like $500. There must be a market for that. And again, it's not making something new, but making something more accessible. And if you think about it in technology, that's kind of how it goes a lot of times. Something starts out as something that only companies and server farms and stuff like that can afford. Like that's how dual cores and virtualization became. Like why we have it right now. It all SSDs, everything that we are using right now started in the server market, the IT professional industry. Because in the beginning it cost an arm and a leg to buy a SSD. But it made sense for storage providers because they were faster, they could save money and stuff like that. So they could afford spending thousands of dollars on an SSD or a dual-core CPU or a virtualization software, because they make tens of thousands a month on the service. But you at home could not do that. Then it's typically, okay, the manufacturing becomes so good and reliable and stable that they can do it faster, cheaper, and better. So that means that the price goes down. And that also means that there comes more documentation with the product. So more and more people can do their own cheaper version of it. And then again, all of that then ends up that it becomes highly documented, fast and easy to make, and cheap because of that, so the consumer can afford it. That again, how we ended up with dual core processors, and it started being really expensive, really difficult to make, and then being really easy to make, really inexpensive to make, and now we can get it as a consumer. And that's the kind of, again, like, these measurement systems are really expensive to make and really expensive to have. That's kind of the way that I'm thinking about that it should be going. That make it more affordable, so more people can have access to it. which will then mean that more people will want access to it. Just like more people wanted dual core and quad core computers, CPUs and stuff like that. Anyway, peeps, I need to go. I need to get some food in my belly. I haven't eaten all day other than the apple. So, yeah, really fun talk. There's probably a lot of new people in here. What I do with my live streams is that right now everyone can watch them, consume them while I'm live, but I will not delete them when I'm done, but they will become members only. So, if you want to see the rest of the live stream or anything like that, or haven't been here from the start, for I think it's like $1 a month or something like that, you can become a member and you will have access to all my past live streams and a monthly members-only vlog, where I do a little bit more personalization vlog about myself. Thanks so much, Dennis, Kevin Dennis. Thanks also so much. So it's just a heads up that, oh my god, where's the live stream? It is like, yeah, YouTube have been pestering me to do this fucking membership forever, and I'm like, well, I might as well do it. So I feel it's only like the members, they need to have, if they are going to become a member, they need some benefits, and that's my Discord should be in the link, or if it's not in the link on this one here, it's on the link on my other videos. There should be links on my videos to my Discord. But yeah, just so you guys and girls know that it's not that I'm deleting my live streams after it. It's just that the playback is only available to members, and I only have one tier. It's the lowest tier that I can set on YouTube, and I do it because I've heard that if you have membership enabled, that you become more favorable for YouTube, meaning that they probably recommend your channel more and stuff like that, because there's more ways they can earn money from you, basically. So the more ways I can give YouTube money by enabling more stuff that people can spend money on YouTube, they will promote my channel better. I don't know if that's true. I've just heard a lot of people say that. So I was trying to figure out a way of doing it in the most fair way possible. And to me, that's just having one tier and then have I do have one exclusive content. That's the vlog that I do once a month. I've done one up till now. But then, have the like, some of my live streams are fucking 8, 9 hours, 10 hours long. Like, they're as probably hundreds of hours of live streams, or close to hundreds of hours of live streams accessible. And some of them are really randy, really fucking crazy, and some of them are just pure fun. I'm doing Poppy Linux spin based on Slack. Oh, I love Slackware. You could run some USBs for testing things. I don't have Patreon. I'm not big enough to think the 07 news, to be honest. That's why I did the whole member thing. It's I think it's $99 and then $1 or $1 whatever, what the fuck it is. For becoming a member, and then you get access to the monthly vlog and past live streams, and depending on ideas people have, I probably will do more. I'm open for doing more things. So on the cheap component type system, yeah, exactly, Asbjørn, yeah. But yeah, it's just to explain that it's not like I'm I'm deleting my live stream because I don't want people to watch it. It's just I feel that if people are becoming members, they need to have some benefits for it. Yeah, I will look into. We can look into that. And you can ask people on my Discord if some of them want to test it out. There's probably people in there that are willing to take take it for a spin. Combining your ideas with additive manufacturing that you could make a pretty decent semi-custom manufacturing. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, I need to go. I need to get some food in my fucking stomach. Don't ask them. Just in general chat, just say, hey, I'm making a distribution. If anyone is interesting, hit me up. Don't go in and DM everyone. I don't think they will appreciate that. But just go into general channel and say, or the tech channel room. I have a tech room. Just go in there and say that, hey, I'm making a StackMap-based distribution. If anyone wants to test it out, hit me up. You know. If you go DM everyone, they will probably get really mad at you. You know. But yeah. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing weekend.